Okay, so this was continuation of parallel and perpendicular lines. So this is determining if it's parallel or perpendicular or neither, okay, given 4 points or given ordered pairs, all right? So what you're going to need in this particular part of the notes is you're going to need the slope setup, okay, which looks like that. All right. Now, let's go to number 1, okay, on this one right here. So we're actually given 2 lines, an AB and a CD. The two ordered pairs for AB are on top. The 2 ordered pairs for CD is on the bottom. So we're going to actually need to have 2 slope setups. All right. So now I've got labeled the X and the Y's. So let's do the AB first. All right. Meaning we're going to do the top 2 ordered pairs. So if you guys remember from previous notes, all you have to do is drop the Y's down on top. So for the 2 ordered pairs, okay, for AB, the Y's are 3 and 6. So we're going to drop those down on top. And then for the X's, we're going to drop the X's down on bottom. So -2 and +2. Like so. Now we just do the math. 3 minus 6 is -3. -2 minus 2 is -4. Negative over negative is a positive. So 3 over 4 is our slope for AB. All right. Now we're going to go to CD, which is the bottom 2 ordered pairs. So drop my Y's down on top, 0 and 3. Drop my X's down on bottom, -1 and 3. And then we just do the math. 0 minus 3 is -3. -1 minus 3 is -4. Negative over negative is a positive. 3 over 4 is my answer. If you look at both slopes, they are the same. So that would be parallel. All right, number 2. And all of these work the exact same. All right. So on this one right here, AB and CD. And again, we need both slope setups. All right, so AB first, the top 2 ordered pairs. Drop the Y's down on top, so 2 and 4. Drop the X's down on bottom, 0 and 5. And then we just do the math. 2 minus 4 is -2. 0 minus 5 is -5. Negative over negative is a positive, so 2 over 5. All right, now let's do CD, the bottom 2 ordered pairs. So drop the Y's down on top, 8 and 3. Drop the X's down on bottom, 1 and 3. All right, and then we just do the math. 8 minus 3 is 5. 1 minus 3 is -2. The negative is going to move to the top, so -5 over 2, and that's our answer. If you look at it, all right, we've got positive 2 over 5, negative 5 over 2, and you can clearly see that they are opposite and flipped over, so that is going to be perpendicular. All right, number 3. And again, all of these work the same. So you've got AB and CD again. And then again, we need 2 slope setups. And you don't technically have to watch all the video, okay? Because if you get the hang of it, then obviously you can stop the video and you don't need to watch anymore. But I'm doing all the problems just so hopefully you get the hang of it. Some of these are a little more difficult. all right, depending on how they end up. So number 3, same thing, okay? We got our x's and our y's. So drop the y's down on top for the top two because we're doing AB first, so 8 and 6. The x's down on bottom, -1 and 2. And then do the math. 8 minus 6 is 2. -1 minus 2 is -3. Move the negative to the top, so -2/3 is my slope. All right, now we're going to do the next one. All right, so drop the y's down on top, so 2 and 3. All right, then we're going to drop the x's down on bottom, so -1 and 3, and then do the math. So 2 minus 3 is -1, and then -1 minus 3 is -4. All right, so on this particular one right here, all right, we've got -1. Actually, negative over negative is a positive. So on this one right here, we've got +1 over 4. So if you look at this one right here, all right, we've actually got neither, meaning it's not even close. We've got a -2/3 and we've got a +1/4. So this one would actually be a neither right here because it's neither flipped over and it's actually not even close to being the exact same slope. All right, so this one would be a neither one. All right, so doing the next one. Number 4. All right, so for number 4, what we've got is AB and CD, and then we need our slope setups. All right, so on this one right here, what we're going to do is, and I'll label my X's and my Y's. So drop the y's down on top, so 3 and 4. Drop the x's down on bottom, 2 and -1. And you actually have to put in the -1. All right, so on this one right here, it's actually going to turn it into a positive. 3 minus 4 is -1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So my slope is -1 over 3. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the other one. So drop the y's down on top, 3 and 6. Drop the x's down on bottom, -5 and -4. That turns into a positive. So what we get is 3 minus 6, which is -3. -5 plus 4, which is -1. Negative over negative is a positive. So we actually get +3 over 1. So -1 over 3, +3 over 1. You can see that it is opposite and flipped over. That is going to be perpendicular. All right, so here are the first 4 at a glance. So you can pause the video if you need to, okay, to catch up. I know I kind of went a little fast. So hopefully everybody is able to understand what I've done so far. So we've got a parallel and 2 perpendiculars. And then for number 3, we've got a neither because that was neither the exact same slope, and it was also not opposite or flipped over. Okay, so, and it actually wasn't even close to either one. We got a negative 2/3 and a positive 1/4. So that would be neither parallel nor perpendicular. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go down to number 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Okay. So number 5. These are a little bit tougher because there's a few more negatives in it. So again, we've got an AB, and then we've got a CD. Here's our X's and Y's. And you do them the exact same way. So what we've got is drop our Y's down on top, negative 2 and 7. Drop our X's down on bottom, 0 and 0. All right? So what we've got is negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9 over 0. Anytime that you have 0 on the bottom, your slope is going to be undefined. And when you have an undefined slope, we know that it's an x equals equation. Well, what does x equal? Well, what you're going to see is both of your x's are 0, so x equals 0. So that's my first equation, all right? And it's actually an undefined slope, but you know with an undefined slope, the equation is x equals 0, all right? So now, we go to the next one, all right? Drop your y's down on top, negative 5, and negative 5, and then drop your x's on bottom, 3 and 6. So what we've got is negative 5 plus 5, which is 0. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. And then 0 divided by anything is a slope of 0, which we know is a y equals equation. And how do we know what y equals? Well, if you look at both of the y's, they're negative 5. So y equals negative 5. And if you listen to what we did earlier, anytime you have an x equals equation and a y equals equation, you're going to have a vertical line and a horizontal line, which is perpendicular. All right, number 6. So on this one right here, again, you do it the same way. So here's my x's, here's my y's. So AB are the two lines on top. We'll do that first. All right, so what we've got are the y's. Drop the y's down on top, 7 and 6. Drop the x's down on bottom, negative 4 and negative 2. So negative 4 and negative 2, which that actually turns into a positive. So we've got 7 minus 6 is 1. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Move the negative to the top, negative 1 over 2. That's my first slope. All right, now we're going to do the next one. So the bottom two, drop the y's down on top. So negative 2, positive 3, and then drop the x's on bottom, 2 and negative 8. All right, so what we get is negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5, and then 2 plus 8 is 10. Negative 5 over 10 reduces to negative 1/2. And then you can clearly see that they are the exact same slope, so that would be parallel. All right, now we go to number 7, 2 left. All right, so we've got AB, CD, my 2 slope setups. So for AB, and I'll label my x's and my y's. So the top 2 ordered pairs, drop your y's down on top. So 1 and negative 4. 1 and negative 4. Obviously, that turns that into a positive. Drop your x's on bottom. 3 and 3. So what we've got is 5 over 0. And once again, what we've got is 0 on the bottom is an undefined slope. So we know that it's going to be an x equals equation. How do we know what x equals? Well, what are both of the x's? They're both 3, so we know that the equation is x equals 3. All right, now we do the bottom two ordered pairs, which is CD. So drop the y's down on top, 1 and 5. Drop the x's on bottom, -4 and -4, which that turns that into a positive. 1 minus 5 is -4. -4 plus 4 is 0. So again, we have a 0 on the bottom, which is an undefined slope, an x equals equation. And if you look at both x's on the bottom, they're both -4. So x equals -4. And anytime that you have two x equals equations, you're going to have two vertical lines, and that would be parallel. All right, last one. So again, it works the same way. You've got your line AB and your line CD. Here are your two setups. And then and I'll go ahead and erase this line right here to give us a little bit more room. So here's my X, here's my Y, my X and my Y. So the top two ordered pairs first, drop my Y's down on top for AB. So 8 and 2. Drop my X's on bottom, -3 and +3. So 8 minus 2 is 6. -3 minus 3 is -6. All right, so we've got 6 over -6, which is actually -1 over 1. All right, so that's my slope because that reduces. And then now we go to the bottom ordered pairs for CD. So we've got 1 and -1. All right, drop my Y's down on top. So that actually turns into a positive. And then drop my X's on bottom. Okay, so 7 and 5. So when you add them together, we've got 1 plus 1 is 2. 7 minus 5 is 2. When you reduce the fraction, you get 1 over 1. All right, and then again, we've gone over this earlier in a couple other videos. -1 over 1 and +1 over 1 is perpendicular. All right, so try to get all of my problems in the screen. So here is all 8 problems. Make it a little bigger. Here is all 8 problems at a glance. Hopefully this helps everybody out. So this is finding the slopes and doing the two ordered pairs, finding slopes from two ordered pairs, all right? And then comparing the slopes to determine parallel, perpendicular, or neither, okay? And again, you can have a neither by looking at number 3, okay? On number 3, if you take a peek at it, okay, this is the one problem where we actually had a neither, okay? We dropped the Y's down on top on the first one, 8 and 6. The X's on the bottom, -1 and 2. We got 2 over -3. Negative moved to the top, it's -2 over 3. And then we went to the second one. We dropped the Y's down on top, 2 and 3. Okay, we dropped the X's down on bottom, -1 and 3. So we got -1 over -4. All right, and clearly that turns it in a negative over negative, turns it into a positive 1/4, and that would be a neither. All right, so hopefully that helps you guys out with the ordered pairs.